told himself that he had also been prepared to see his wife suffer. It was expected and natural that women suffered. Yet her face had been so terrible, distorted, unrecognizable, wild. Her hair soaking wet on her forehead, and her screams as she twisted and flung herself, lunging on the bed. They had put him out of her room. She bore pain well, he thought, remembering the time she'd had a compound fracture of the arm. Yet childbirth was not to be compared with a broken arm, was it? So that the pain he had seen upstairs was not unusual? He didn't know. Certainly, though, the doctor knew. He was one of the best obstetricians in the city. A young man came to retrieve the coat and hat he had left on the chair across from Paul. "A girl," he announced, answering Paul's question before it could be asked. 7 pounds, a beautiful blonde. Mirth seemed to bubble in the man's throat. He would go home now and sit down at the telephone to spread his happy news. Paul gave congratulations. The man had brought his wife in not 2 hours ago. When he went out again, the silence rang in Paul's ears. He got up and began to pace the room. His legs ached from sitting. It was a dreary room, filled with imitation factory-made Chippendale, all in good enough taste, but sterile. 10th-rate landscapes on the walls. Hudson River School, also imitation, of course. Well, what did he want in a hospital waiting room, for heaven's sakes? An art exhibit? He tried to focus his thoughts on art. He had always been open to new ideas, had bought expressionists before they became as sought after as they were now, yet some of the wildest stuff that was being done today he couldn't look at. It reflected only what the war had done to the world, pulled things apart. It made you uneasy. The world before 1914 might have been a century ago, not just 6 years. His mind roved. Everything in this post-war world was swelling larger. Debts, too, he thought soberly. Debt was a pit one must not fall into. That was one thing, anyway, on which he agreed with his father. There were others on which he did not agree. Good God, what were they doing upstairs? He pulled his thoughts back. What had he been thinking about? Oh, debts. No, speculation, not for clients or himself. For the family, AAA bonds and unmortgaged properties. Prepare for the biblical 7 lean years that were bound to come. Why didn't somebody come down and tell him something? The people at the desks in the office across the hall didn't know anything, or said they didn't. Damn it all, he was just going to ask them again, to insist that they find out something, anything. Insist. He was crossing the hall when the elevator whirred, the door opened, and the doctor called out. Mr. Werner, it's all right, your wife's fine. He laid his hand on Paul's arm. We're very, very lucky tonight. Lucky? Why? Was it to be a matter of luck, then? Had something gone wrong? Or almost gone wrong? Paul stood there confused. My office is just down the hall. Come in, sit down. Yes, something has gone wrong. He wants to tell me. Very lucky, the doctor repeated. We had to do a cesarean, Mr. Werner. Tried not to. He sighed, moving his hand left, right, and back like a pendulum. But it went well. A cesarean, Paul said. He felt cold. The problem was a transverse lie, lying crossways, that is. And again the doctor moved his hand. There was a small spot of blood on his white sleeve. It's impossible to deliver a baby that way, you understand. I wish he would stop saying you understand and get on with it. Paul leaned forward as if to pull the words out of the other man's mouth. And as the woman continues to labor in that situation, the uterus ruptures with internal bleeding. An ordeal, Mr. Werner, if you want to call it that. Quite an ordeal. Yes, Paul said. But thank God she's come through. We've made the repairs and she's resting comfortably. Just came out of the anesthesia. I've been waiting up there until she did. Yes, Paul said. A very brave young woman, your wife. Certificates and diplomas on the narrow wall at the end of the room behind the doctor's head testified to his knowledge and gave him authority. He's not much older than I am, Paul thought irrelevantly, reading the dates. Arthur Bennett Lyons, he read. One was in Latin. That gave authority, too. Will, the doctor was saying. There's no real proof, I know, but I'm convinced that a patient with a brave will can tilt things in the right direction. Your wife held on, Mr. Werner. He's talking to fill a void, Paul thought. There's something else he doesn't want to get to. Neither of us does. Yet he must know that I know what it is. And through lips so dry that they almost stuck together, he asked. The baby? Dead. In that situation, it always is, inevitably. A normal baby? Yes, a good-sized boy.